Thank you. We brought you just a few moments ago just that brief glimpse at that news conference that was going on in Gainesville regarding the missing University of Florida college freshman. Well, what we've found out, we've gotten the latest information now from the authorities in Gainesville, and we now know Pedro Bravo, who had been picked up as a person of interest in the case of missing freshman Christian Aguilar. Well, Bravo has now been charged with murder. There is no body, though, that has been found so far. Police were frustrated when they were discussing this at the news conference. They're asking the people in the Gainesville area to point out anything that might be suspicious to them, that might point them in the direction of a body, possibly of Christian Aguilar. They're asking people to point out if they've seen any overturned dirt, anything that looks like it could have been buried, that sort of thing, in hopes of finding this 18-year-old's body.
No sign of missing UF student Christian Aguilar, but a court appearance for his high school friend, Pedro Bravo. Gainesville police say Bravo has given them conflicting stories of their last encounter. But again, murder charges now being filed against Pedro Bravo in the case of this missing young man from the University of Florida.
How many objections to us checking your vehicle, checking your phone?
I'm not really even check my vehicle on my phone.
Your vehicle has been, I know that they kind of went through what you're getting. I actually need to send it to University Towing and have our forensics go through it. Okay, it might take more than, a few hours, so it might be tomorrow before you get it back.
Okay.
Would that be okay?
That'll be okay.
You need to understand that if something happened to Christian, our investigation is clearly going to show something happened if it did, and who's responsible.
Yes.
We need to be really clear about this thing at 1 o'clock in the morning, because
I understand.
you told me you were asleep.
Oh, I was
You
asleep.
woke up, you checked your phone, you went back to sleep, you woke up at 3 something in the morning, and you're like,
Well, I woke up at 3 something, but the phone calls at 4. I'm not really good at
you
time.
woke up at 3 something because the power went off.
Yes.
On.
You know what that was by any chance?
No, I have to check. But the laptop was warm, and that was another thing you mentioned. And then all of a sudden, I forgot all about at 1 something in the morning. You got up and went to McDonald's in your car and bought something. Am I going to see your face at McDonald's on Arthur Road at 1 something in the morning?
Probably.
Probably?
Probably, actually.
Did you go through the drive-thru or did you go inside?
Drive-thru.
Okay. Those little places where you order your food has a little camera. So would you say definitely I'll see your face?
You would definitely see my face.
Okay, is anybody in the vehicle with you?
No, it was just me.
Okay. So why didn't you mention that before?
I was really drowsy. Like, it's not something I remember exactly, because I remember the last time, it was a while back, last time something like that happened to me. So I took some sleeping pills with my friends. Well, not with my friends, just by myself. And then we went to go do something. Like, it was in the middle of the day, we went to go do something, but I was really out of it. And after that, I remember my friend said that I ended up buying a pack of 5 paper plates and just giving it to a homeless man for no apparent reason. And I had no recollection of what was happening.
What kind of trouble have you been in the past? Have you ever been arrested? Have you ever been in any trouble?
No, never been arrested or any trouble like that.
Why do you want to hurt yourself, Pedro?
Yeah.
I mean, bottom line, what's the problem? I mean, I'm not a psychologist. I mean, just give me the Reader's Digest version, the short version.
I got out of high school. Well, I broke up with my girlfriend, that's one thing. That was Erica. Well, that's one thing. But I got over that slowly. But then all the other things started mounting up. Like college. Like, I had to get ready, because when I was little, I had a complete different viewpoint where I want to be in college. Like, I didn't want to go to Santa Fe or UF.
You didn't want to go to community college, you want to go to UF.
I wanted to go to Harvard or something like that. Something big when I was little. And I always had that aspiration. And then like every time I go here, like it crushes me inside in a weird way. Because I always had like my aunts, my parents, they'd always be like, oh, he's gonna make it.
Yeah. And your friends going to UF, and of course that's gotta be something like
yeah.
And your friends dating your ex-girlfriend.
I don't know, but I'm okay with that. Because I know he's a good guy.
You're okay with that?
Mm-hmm. Like, if it was a friend of mine that I knew he's a complete tool, that I was still friends with him for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
then I'd be a little bit angsty about this. I'd be a little bit like, why?
I think that you have to, I have to look at the fact that you forgot you looked to McDonald's in the middle of the night, that maybe you forgot something else. Maybe you forgot something that's very important, like that you got to, maybe have a confrontation with your friend.
No, I can't.
You don't think he didn't show up banging on the door, you son of a bitch left me out in the middle of the rainstorm?
No, he doesn't know where I live. That'd be funny. In a way that'd be funny, but I couldn't do that to him. He's helped me through a lot before. Before all this, I also told him that I was contemplating suicide a while ago.
Have you been contemplating that today?
All of today, all of yesterday, for the past 3 weeks, for the past 2 months, for the past 4 years.
Did you say anything about hurting yourself to anybody besides me today?
Everyone knows about that.
Everybody?
All my friends are trying to help.
Your family?
My family also.
People do things for strange reasons, and I have to approach this, okay, with you, especially because of the receipt.
Yeah.
And people do things, ordinary people who, can be driven to do things that we wouldn't normally do. Especially if someone else starts something. We protect ourselves or we do something. People do things for different reasons. The problem is when you have a legitimate thing that happens, or someone attacks you, or someone does something to you where you're working in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
They hardly ever get in trouble for what happens then. They get in trouble because they try to cover it up afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, you're a smart guy, kind of like politics. Nixon, he didn't get in trouble for what he did then, he got in trouble for how he tried to cover that up, right? And a lot of people do that. They tend to get in trouble with the story they tell afterwards, or the facts that they left out, or that kind of stuff. That's what comes back to get them.
Yeah.
Okay? So, if something happened between you and Kristen attacked you, or Kristen tried to hurt you, or you had to protect yourself, or something happened, it's that you need to be honest with it now.
Okay.
That we don't find Kristen, hurt or injured or something worse sometime, and it comes back to you without an explanation of what happened.
No, Kristen's not a person to attack me, or he's not a person to attack anyone really. And I'm not the person to attack. We'll fight back, yes, but not attack someone out of spite.
Okay, so there's nothing you don't think that Kristen could have said or done that would have made you, it got you upset enough to have an argument, stop at a rainstorm, and put his ass out the truck.
Well, I didn't make him get out. I just made him.
Didn't make him get out, but from the story you told me. But I'm also finding out that there might be part of the story left out too. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. Parts that might have got left out.
Well, I just told him because I wanted him to get pissed off. I wanted him to stop bugging me about me contemplating suicide and how he thinks it's the wrong idea. And I know he was just being really supportive, and I told him I made a comment about the crush he had for 3 years, and he just quiet for a little bit. Then he looked at me and he said, "Stop the car."
The crush you had on, he had on you?
This is the Bazo.
Did he? Did he have a crush on her?
He had a crush on her for 3 years, then he poured his heart out to her, and he told her that, like, he poured his heart to her, like, I really like you, and I also cut myself, like, so she also knew. And she didn't return the feelings for him, and that crushed him, and like he told me, what made it worse was, a few days later, she comes out of nowhere talking about, like, this guy she likes at her school. Because she went to a different school, but, like he still liked her. Like, he went to our school for, like, 2 years, and then she moved out for 1 year to, like, iPrep.
So who's this individual, that monkey boy, that you did the...
Buddy Coppola. Well, his name is Vincent, but we call him Buddy.
Vincent. How do you spell his last name?
Coppla. P-P-O-L-A. O-L-A. Coppola.
Okay, Coppola. And where does he go to school?
Same thing.
You know where he lives?
The district.
The district. Is that like an apartment complex?
Yeah.
And you call him Buddy?
Well, we all call him Buddy. Like, he doesn't like being called Vincent.
And what day did y'all, night or whatever, did y'all do this at the...
It was either Wednesday. It was Wednesday. There we go. Because Tuesday I wanted to meet Chris, but I couldn't. So I just went
So
home.
it was Wednesday night?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
Because we went at the middle of the night to the stadium, 9:45ish. Well, 9:45ish, I remember climbing. Because I told them we should probably get down, it's going to close soon.
Is Vincent a white man or a black man?
White man.
And how old do you think he is?
Same age as me.
18. Do you don't know for sure what happened to Christian?
No.
What do you think happened?
I'm really hoping he's lost, but I really don't know what to think at this point.
Does he have a vehicle?
He has a bicycle. That's about it. And
Did
he
you
uses
see
a
that
bus.
bicycle at the...
No. He didn't bring it with him. Like, all I know is he has a bicycle, but he didn't bring the bicycle with him.
How do you know he didn't bring it when he told you?
Well, we got in the car together.
I know, but I mean, how did he get to the hub?
Oh, by bus. I saw him get off the bus.
Okay, he got off the bus, okay. Does he have a bus card or something?
I'd assume so, if he got off the bus, so yes. Then he goes to the zero, so I don't know if you could, I'm not a percent if we show our Santa Fe ID for you, if you probably show your ref ID.
I thought it was kind of surprised you when he came up, that you didn't know where he was coming from. That you actually saw him get off the bus.
So, because I was waiting outside, like where all the buses stop, because I'm assuming he either come walking from the back, so I stayed in the back for a bit, but I'm like, I feel like that's not going to work, so I just sat in the front where all the benches are, like right in front, because there's a Chick-fil-A, and outside there's like a little bench, so I sat there waiting for him, and I saw him get off the bus, and I remember when he got off the bus, I creeped up behind him and opened the door and said, let me get that for you, just to like say hello in a weird way.
So how are you planning on hurting yourself?
What do you mean?
You said that you think about committing suicide every day.
Well, there was different ways. Each time it's a very interesting way.
Each one's interesting, huh?
They're all interesting. If you think about it without the morbid sense, they're all interesting in some way or another. Like in Miami, I always wanted, like, if anything, because if I felt really bad, I always knew there was a Colt 45 loaded at my parents' house, and I could probably find where it was and get the job done that way. And then there's sleeping pills, but I looked online, I felt like sleeping pills wasn't enough, so I got a can of pesticide just in case. But then I put that in a Coca-Cola bottle, mix it all up together, ground them up together and put some pesticide, but I couldn't bring myself to drink because it just looked nasty. And I felt like if I drank it, I wouldn't kill myself. I just ended up going to the ICU and ended up puking and just ended up on watch instead of anything. And then there's the other ways, the classic ways, technically, I guess. Like slitting your wrists that way. And figure out driving a car and then just swerving off the road sort of thing. Moments like that.
Do you think about what that's going to do to your parents?
I do. I feel like it'd be terrible.
Yeah.
I feel like it damaged them. It damaged everyone. But like, I was talking to Chris, and we were talking about that, and I told him it doesn't matter. Because in a way, like, I wouldn't be able to tell what's going on, would I? Because I wouldn't be there anymore.
No, but you can imagine what your parents would do.
Well, I wouldn't technically. I can imagine now, but if I do it, I wouldn't be able to imagine afterwards. Like,
No, not afterwards, but now.
yeah,
You know how devastated they
Yeah.
would be, and you know how hurt they would be.
yeah.
Because I'm sure they love their son.
I am their only son, so yes, I know they love their son.
Did you talk to anybody about doing that to yourself today, besides me?
Yes.
Good.
Erica, Karina, my parents.
You talked to all of them about that? What did you tell them?
I can't take this anymore. Things are just getting like, they're piling up. Like little things just start piling up, and I feel like I'm gonna burst.
So you have a hard time dealing with small things that are linked together? Like, feels like building blocks, and when it gets too big, you feel like it's gonna burst.
Yeah. But then I always, like, in the end, I reached the point where I'm about to try it, and then I talk myself out of it, like the little voice in me, just give it time, just see how it plays out, just give it time, don't do anything rash right now. And then I stop. I'm glad that little voice is there, otherwise I wouldn't be here right now.
Do you have any weapons?
No. No, like, I have a hammer and a screwdriver and a Phillips head, but I can't really use them for much.
Okay, but, I mean, do you have any guns?
No, I don't have guns. Knives,
Other than what's in your apartment?
knives, my box guard, that's it.
Where's
It was in my apartment, but like, my friends took all the blades away.
when was that?
Oh, a while ago, it was last week, Friday. Like, we were talking, and I felt like I should give them the blades, just to stop from anything happening.
So when did you cut that finger?
That finger? That was a while ago. Like, I was cutting up the Reptar, I can show you if you want to see. The Reptar stencil that I wanted to put on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just straight up sliced my finger because I wasn't paying attention. Happened to me a while ago when I was little too, but that's a different story.
So do you always go by Pedro, or you have a nickname, or you...
Pedro, Peter.
Pedro? That's what you did?
Yeah, I made the stencil for those, and I was cutting out one, slipped my finger by accident.
And is this on the wall over there on 34?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Do you have a password protection or
No,
design thing on your phone?
anyone can use my phone. Like, all the password protection is,
What about your laptop?
they just have to put my password. That's it.
What about your laptop?
My password, yeah, for my laptop.
Yeah, do you have one?
Yes.
Okay. Can we look at your laptop?
Go ahead, yeah.
What's the password for your laptop?
P Bravo.
B-R-A-V-O?
Yes.
Okay.
1993.
P-B-R-A-V-O. 1993.
Would you like the
All
ones on
one
my,
word.
would you like the ones on my Facebook also, by any chance?
Sure.
Same.
So is there any spaces or anything like that between P. Bravo
Put
and
them together.
I'm sorry?
You just put, yes, like that.
All together?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it all lowercase? Is there any uppercase?
No uppercase, all lowercase.
All lowercase, okay. Okay. So we have the keys to your vehicle?
Yes. Can I get my keys to my apartment by any chance?
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're attached to the keys to my vehicle.
Yeah.
And the clicker to get to my apartment.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Give me a few minutes. I know that you want to get out of here.
My parents came all the way from Miami, so
Yeah,
like,
and I want to get them to you. If you can just give me a few minutes to take care of the getting your key and
Okay.
getting all that stuff squared away. Oh, and can I borrow your phone?
oh, sure.
I'll give it back to you today,
Okay.
before you leave.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem.
Man, you're on.
Yeah.
Had to go find all these daggone forms.
Hello.
Tired?
Yeah.
Okay. These are, when I talked to you about, checking your phone, searching your phones, searching the truck, all that kind of stuff, I just gotta get you, we gotta fill these forms out, okay? All right, this one's, for your computer. Just gonna sit and search computer equipment, electronic data, INTERROGATION Bravo, hereby authorize me, who has identified themselves as Gainesville police officer, or any other person including themselves as Gainesville police officer, and opponent, but not limited to a computer forensic examiner that may designate to assist them to remove, take possession of, and or conduct a complete search of the following computer systems: electronic data storage device, computer data storage diskettes or CD-ROMs, or any other electronic equipment capable of storing, retrieving, and or accessing data are necessary to assist in the accessing of said electronic data as defined in Florida Statute 81503 pertinent to their investigation. List all property taken for examination, including external storage equipment. Right now, the only thing I know about is the laptop you told me about.
It has a USB if you want.
Okay, is that with the computer or in it, or?
But it's a USB. Take it out. Move it
Right,
around.
thumb drive, I mean, do you
Yeah,
have it
thumb.
on you, or
Oh,
where would it be?
no. With the laptop.
Okay, is it stuck in the laptop, or
No.
where would it be at?
Where the laptop is.
Okay, like next to it or something?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, okay, I'll put in USB thumb drive.
Yeah.
Okay. This consent shall remain in effect for a period of 30 business days, during which time the aforementioned equipment will be subject to a forensic analysis for any data pertinent to the criminal investigation. I give consent to search freely and voluntarily without fear, threat, or coercion, or promises of any kind, and with full knowledge of my constitutional right to refuse to give consent for the removal and or search of the aforementioned equipment data, which I hereby waive. I am also aware that if I wish to exercise this right at any time during the seizure and or search of the equipment data, it will be respected. It says this consent to search is hereby given by me this 21st day of September.
6:31.
At 6:31 p.m.
Well, where do I sign? What is my
Right. This one is for your cell phone. It's basically a little bit quicker. Not as many words. And the rest of these will all be the same. It'll just describe different people and different things.
what time could I expect to get these back?
This one will take a few days, okay?
No, it's not, but my cell phone.
Your card will be ready this evening. Your phone will be ready in a few minutes.
Okay.
I'm trying to move it along really quick for you, okay? But I don't think that, let's see, cell phone, There's nothing here that's going to probably take any longer than today, except for the laptop.
Okay. I have to get these and give it to you guys.
Well, I'm going to send somebody out to get it, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about. I paid Pedro Bravo to give my full consent that my cellular telephone, what do you have, an Apple?
Apple, yes.
And what kind of, 4S or?
The 4.
Apple 4 located at University PD. May be searched and collected by the following persons: Detective Matt Gable, who's outside of the Gainesville Police Department. Give this consent freely and voluntarily without compulsion or threat of any kind. I understand that the above described search collection cannot be conducted without my consent or unless set off.
Out of curiosity, if I do not consent, what happens? Because I don't understand anyone not consent to it. Like, is there like,
Yeah,
like you appeal to courts?
I would write out a probable cause affidavit of why I need it and take it to the state attorney's office. If they felt that there was probable cause, they would do the search warrant, and I take it to a judge who would read it, and they would decide whether or not they would give me the search warrant. So, but it's still your right to refuse it. So. Okay, I give this consent freely and voluntarily without compulsion or threat of any kind. I understand that the above described search collection cannot be conducted without my consent or unless said officers obtain a search warrant. Before any search collection is performed, I further agree that anything or any article that may be found in the search of the above described premises vehicle may be taken, used as evidence, and used in the trial of any matter of which I may stand accused. Which you're not accused of anything right now. Just sign up.
Do I print any on the bottom too?
Yeah, signature here and print the name there. The only thing I'm going to add is I'm going to sign here, put the date and time, which I wouldn't do the date and time. 9/21/2024, 6:35.
Do you know at what time I could be expected to be gone from here? Or,
Not exactly, but I wouldn't think it's going to be too long that longer.
no, okay, because I like to sleep at some point.
Last night would have been a good time.
Would have been a good time.
I'm going to put the keys number on there one more time, okay? That's the only thing I'm going to do that. And this is for your vehicle. Okay, it says the exact same thing, except it says forensic investigator Mark Crahan with the Gainesville Police Department, and it's a Chevrolet Blazer. And it just give my full consent that your Chevrolet Blazer parked at the University of Florida Police Department may be searched, collected by the following persons: forensic investigator Mark Crahan of the Gainesville Police Department. Give this consent freely and voluntarily without compulsion or threat of any kind. I understand that the above described search collection cannot be conducted without my consent or unless said officers obtain a search warrant.
And all these searches will happen today?
Yes. Except for the laptop.
Except for the laptop?
Yeah, I don't have a forensic computer analyst to do it until Monday. Before any search collection is performed, I further agree that anything or any article that may be found in the search of the above described premises vehicle may be taken and used as evidence and used in the trial of any matter of which I stand accused.
Parents, are my parents here?
They were here, I don't know if they're still here.
Okay,
They're waiting.
for, because it might be the other Christian's parents.
No, your parents have been here.
Really?
Yeah, they've already here.
Oh.
They told them that me and you were talking, and that we were looking at your phone and different things like that, so they're here whenever we're done.
Okay. I can't really, there's nothing that's telling me that I have to tell you that if I don't tell you it's gonna be. Because I've been here waiting for a while, and
No problem.
like, I don't know. It's one thing I have to tell you because you're right, I can't keep everything from you, and I have to tell you one thing.
Good.
Like, in the scuffle with Chris, it wasn't just really an argument. Like, he wasn't sitting right next to me in the car. He was in the car with me, but he wasn't sitting right next to me, like, in the passenger seat. Like, after we dropped off the homeless man, the hitchhiker, whatever, he got out also, and he got in the back seat and just pushed the seat up to put his feet up. And we were talking casually, like, normal, and we were still getting really heated and like, an argument and stuff like that. But then, at one point, I made the comment about the girl that he has a crush on, and he got angry at that. But then he came back with, maybe you should just fucking kill yourself. And that's when I turned around and punched him straight in the face. And that's when I told, like, he got out, but I told him get out of the car.
We'll talk about it. Okay. What is your address again? Here?
701 Southwest, 62nd or 63rd Boulevard.
62nd Boulevard, Spyglass.
Yes.
And it's apartment number
117.
117. Okay. And this, because they have to go to your apartment to get the laptop. Okay. I would like for them to be able to look in your room, make sure you don't have any handguns, long rocket launchers, that kind of stuff. Anything that was used to hurt
Okay.
Christians. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the same thing, except just for your bedroom apartment.
The only I can show you because if you want, I'll explain it later after we sign.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel like it's one thing that's going to bug me if I don't.
Well, I know, and the problem is, Pedro and Pete,
Because I don't know exactly if it's going to be more trouble or
the problem is that when you leave things out, kind of like
it kind of goes back to that you and
it makes you look like you did something bad.
Yeah.
And that's
kind of
that's how I'm looking at you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of looking at you like you did something to him because you've lied to me first of all about the McDonald's incident.
Yeah, but that was on my part. That's because I was dressing.
I know.
But I want to tell you that.
But I don't want you to.
I don't want to lie to you.
I don't want you to lie to me about anything because if you had a legitimate reason to do what you did. Or even if you did something to him,
no. If I look back at it, it wasn't a legitimate reason. There's no legitimate reason to put someone in the face.
Well, I understand, but okay. This just says that you give me full consent of my apartment bedroom, and the reason I wouldn't put it that way is that the common area of your apartment, if you share it with roommates, we can only look in that common area if everybody says it's okay, or no. If you say it's okay, and we look there, and the other guys were to say, no, you can't do that, then we couldn't do it, okay?
So it has to be my bedroom.
Well, no, it can be the common area if the other roommates agree, okay? So we'll ask them also, but your specific bedroom, only you can give consent for that, okay? That's why I worded it, that way. Okay, it says that you give full consent to my apartment/bedroom located at 701 Southwest 62nd Boulevard, Spyglass number 117, may be searched by the following persons, detectives of the Gainesville Police Department. I give this consent freely and voluntarily without compulsion or threat of any kind. Understand that the above described search collection cannot be conducted without my consent or unless said officers obtain a search warrant. Before any search collection is performed, I further agree that anything or any article that may be found in the search of the above described premises vehicle may be taken and used as evidence in the trial of any matter of which I may stand accused. I'll do the same thing there. Sign and print your name for me. this stuff down real quick. I'm sure you watch television a lot of times, and
Not
cop
much.
shows.
Not much.
You ain't seen a lot of cop shows?
No, I usually watch the History Channel or something like that, or Discovery Channel.
Me too. But a lot of people watch cop shows and they sit here and they watch these shows and they go, they got forensics, they got this, they got that. And yeah, there are a lot of things. I mean, you sit there and you see the traffic light cameras that are up on top of the stoplights. There are multiple businesses have video that runs out to the road.
Especially in Gainesville, because
Oh, yeah.
it's a lot more than Miami compared to.
Absolutely, and there's lots of video, including McDonald's and Best Buy. You know, I showed you a picture from Best Buy. If you told me something on here that's not true, you didn't go this direction, or you didn't go this street, or you didn't do what you said you do during that time, it's not going to be hard to prove that what you're telling me isn't true, or that you're telling me something's not true. So yes, you need to be honest with me, and if you weren't honest with me before, you need to be honest with me.
So the driving part, some of those are generalizations because I just drive to drive, but except where I was driving to leave the homeless man and go with Chris. That I remember clearly because I was going there and I wasn't driving to go anywhere. I was just driving with him. But the thing I wanted to tell you, because it's gonna, if I don't tell you, it's just gonna eat me up inside, and at one point it's just gonna come back and bite me in the ass, I guess. Is, when I was with Chris in the car, after we dropped off the hitchhiker guy, we were talking and things were still heated, and I made the same comment about the girl he has a crush on. And he got angry, and he stayed quiet for a bit, but then he said, no, you should just kill yourself. I don't know, and that just...
Because he was pissed off.
Yeah, and at that point, I stopped the car myself, and I turned around and I just punched him in the face. And...
What did he do?
Well, he grabbed his nose, because I punched him in the butt. I turned around and I hit him in the face. Hard enough, at least, to bruise myself.
Right here?
Right.
Yeah. So those marks right there are where you hit him?
Mm-hmm.
Is the other hand?
Other hand was cut. Cut.
From what?
From, I don't know. I don't remember where these cuts are from. Could be from climbing, but I'm not sure. But I remember I was driving, because I was sitting here in the car, and I remember he said something, and I just turned around, and I remember I reached up with my left hand and just punched him across the face. So I remember at that moment he just went to the side and he grabbed his nose, and he couldn't tell because he was covering his mouth, but you could see in his eyes that he was mad, and I looked at him and I'm like, get out, and he's like, fine. And he opened the door to the side of the car and just got out.
And this happened when?
The same place where I told you.
Okay. And you could see ATVs and stuff at a business?
Well, I remember seeing ATVs, so it wasn't right where the ATVs were. I remember seeing ATVs we're passing them or before them, but I remember seeing them.
Okay. So that's where you let him out.
Mm-hmm.
Is there going to be any blood in your truck?
Probably, and there's probably blood on my backpack because my backpack had all my spray paint cans on it, and I punched him. And he has a constant stage of migraines and chronic nosebleeds since he was little. Because I remember, because he had an operation in high school to one of the veins to get it seared, so it would stop bleeding. And then halfway through the year, it started bleeding again, randomly, because he gets random nosebleeds. But this one wasn't random because I hit him. Yeah.
How many times did you hit him?
Just once. It wasn't it wasn't just once and then kept going. It was just one punch, just kind of like a punch that just means stop.
Okay. What about? Tell me about the trip to McDonald's. Okay, let me start by saying I've taken sleeping pills. You don't get up in the middle of the night taking sleeping pills and drive to McDonald's without remembering it.
Well, I took it, I ate, and I got really drowsy. I
understand
felt
that, but Yeah, some of your story is really believable, and you sit there and you described, and I know that we got pictures since then, so I'm not worried about it, but you could go back and you could describe this older guy that you gave a ride to in detail, muddy shoes, standing on the backs of them.
If I see a stranger, which I feel is weirded out, I remember little things because
I understand that, but you remembered it in detail. I asked you to describe what your friends were and who've known all your life, who's sitting in the front seat.
I just look at his face.
Oh, it was like a thin hoodie. It's either gray or blue. It could have stripes. It could have been gray or blue or gray.
No, it was gray or blue, but it had stripes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was a gray and blue hoodie and it had stripes. I don't know if it was gray and blue, the pattern together, or gray with stripes, or blue with
Kind of like a
stripes.
Freddy Krueger type thing.
Sort of thing, yeah.
So tell me about the trip to McDonald's.
I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, because my roommates have food, but the problem is like most of the food I have to prepare it. Like it's not like food I can just open the fridge and get. So I get up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I don't know, I think I should get something because I had like the entire day, all I had was a little piece of the Zaxby's chicken because I couldn't, like I ate half of the nibbler and I just put the rest away and the rest of the lemonade still in the car, so it was all gone. So I went in the middle of the night, hungry, and I drove to McDonald's because that's the only place that is nearby. If anything, I would have gone to Burger King, but McDonald's was closer compared to going across the street. So I went there and got a Big Mac, fries, and a drink, Dr. Pepper.
And you were by yourself.
Yes, I was by myself.
And why didn't you tell me that the first time?
I forgot. Honestly, I'm sorry, but I forgot.
Yeah.
I might have been drowsy from the pills and I don't remember, but it's a little minor detail that I don't remember like going, because all I remember is Pedro wants food, I'm gonna go get food and I'll be right back, sort of thing.
When was the last time, before you went home for the night and then went back out to McDonald's prior to getting home, where was the last place you received or made a telephone call?
I think I received a telephone call from Erica, or no, a text. I received a text from Erica at 1:23 a.m. in the morning.
I'm going to go back to when you dropped, you punched Christian in the face and made him get out of your car.
7:22 a.m. phone call from my mom. 8:02 a.m. No, a.m. p.m. My bad. 7:22 p.m. phone call from my mom. 8:02 p.m. phone call from my dad.
Okay, the phone call from your mom at 7:22. You had already made Christian get out of the car?
Around that time, yes.
And where were you at when that call came in?
I'd say I was around the road by Gainesville Road, not Gainesville Road, by Gainesville International Airport, the road over there, but a little bit further down. Not by the airport, but it's hard to explain. It's not by the airport, but it's further down, but not too far down, because I remember seeing the bus cross in front of me and it was the number 5 or number 9. That
City bus?
City bus, yes, mountain bus.
Yeah.
And I was at a light, but I'm not sure exactly. I know it should be, if the interstate was here, I'd be somewhere around not really close to it, but a good distance from it. Like not like too far away, but like a medium-sized distance, I assume. And then at 8:02 p.m., I was by the interstate, like right by the interstate, and I got a phone call from my dad.
8:02?
8:02 p.m.
You was by the interstate where? By Archer Road?
By Archer Road, yeah.
You know why that makes sense to me? You know why that makes sense to me?
Why?
These are Christian's telephone towers where he was at. And between 4:20 p.m. and 6:36 p.m., he's right on 13th Street area and 39th Avenue, getting right in this area, 13th Street. probably would have been right around the area you're talking about. You know, it's just right up here. The problem is that someone took his phone.
I didn't take his phone. I told him, hey, look, can I explain one thing?
Yeah, but let me finish.
Okay.
Someone took his phone over to Archer Road and I-75 area and actually pushed the button and turned it off at 7:20 p.m. right there.
Well,
Metro PCS can tell the difference between what, like one losing power and one that's been turned off. And someone physically turned it off at 7:20 p.m. right there at that location.
I told him to get out of the car, and he didn't bring his book bag with him, or his phone. And I remember that. Like, or his phone, I'm not sure, but I remember his book bag wasn't there. Because I remember seeing him leave, and then I remember like driving later on, and I see his book bag in my car, and I'm like, okay.
So where's his book bag now?
Same house. Along with my book bag.
Was his phone in there?
No. Because that's the first place I looked. I looked in my car, and I couldn't find his phone. Then I looked in his book bag, in my book bag, and I couldn't find his phone.
Thank you. What really happened to Christian?
I already told you. I punched him in the face. I told him to get out.
I know, but can you see how I'm having a hard time believing everything when the first time we talked, you forgot to tell me that you got up and went to McDonald's at on something in the morning. I come back in to get consent signed, and you had forgotten to tell me that you punched him in the face.
Well,
I showed you the phone records, and you forgot to tell me that you still had his book bag.
well, I told you, no. When I told you I punched him in the face, I told him to get out. I didn't tell him.
Oh, I know, but
I didn't tell him, get out, may you please take your book bag with you, because his book bag was in the front seat and the seat was pushed forward, and I just punched him in the face. I'm like, Chris, get out. And he was like, fine, and he got out of the car.
so what color is his book bag?
His book bag's black.
And it's in your room?
Should be in my room, yes.
Where at?
In my closet.
And yours is what color?
Well, I painted it, so it's white.
Yours is painted white, his is black. Can you understand why I'm concerned?
I can see why you're concerned, yes.
I've been doing this for about 30 years,
I know.
and I can tell when people don't tell me the truth.
I know.
And they keep adding little bits and little bits and little bits, and it turns out to be a lot of bits, you know. So when you have a cell phone in your pocket, it constantly finds the closest towers, you know.
Yes, I know. It sends and receives signals to the closest towers, and once the phone is turned off, it stops sending or receiving signals. And if the power is going weaker, the signal is stronger or weaker.
Yeah, so you know about that.
I know about that, yes.
Okay, so you know that your phone was constant, if you had it on last night, it was constantly bouncing from
Sending
tower to
signals.
tower. And you could basically just follow you around where you went. That's why I want you to be honest with me about stuff. So is there anything we need to change about where you went, at what times, and things like that before we get a court order for your cell phone records?
No.
I'm not going to get a report in next week from your cell phone company going, no, he was this place and this place and this place, and it doesn't add up with what we talked
You
about.
will not, I assure you.
Okay. So, did you really take any sleeping pills?
Yes, I did. I got 2 different boxes. Acetylphamine, which is like a little oral brand, and then there was one called Z-Quil, or Z-Dayquil. It has a bunch of Z's and it says Quil. And I took 2 from that one and 2 from the other one together to see.
Okay, so, but you can understand why I'm concerned, because nobody can find Christian.
I know.
You're the last person who saw
Yes,
him.
I know.
You've got his backpack,
Yes.
and you punched him in the face.
Yes.
And he got in your vehicle.
I know.
So, I'm concerned.
Mhm.
I'm very concerned about his welfare.
I understand.
And if I'm sure his parents are very concerned.
Trust me, I know his parents very well, and I know they're extremely concerned right now. That's with my parents if the same thing happened to me.
And as I told you before, y'all been friends for a long time.
Yes.
I even told you before that things happen. People piss each other off. They hit each other in the face. They do stupid shit. And you pretty much confirmed that.
Yeah,
You pissed you off. You punched him in the face. Sometimes things happen in the heat of the moment that you wouldn't normally do.
There's things you wish you could change, but
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you wish it hadn't happened. But it's easier to explain it now, like you're talking about, than it is to try to explain it later.
Yeah.
Because if we just find him in the woods dead somewhere, and you come back later and say, I don't know, but your tracks are there, or your shoe tracks are there, or your fingerprints are on him, or any of this other stuff happens.
Well, I was already touching him.
I understand. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand that.
If you punched him in the face and things got out of hand,
I know, like, and he got hurt.
and you left him there.
Even if it wasn't my problem, that it still adds up to like.
Right. And let's say, you're sitting there with him, you punch him in the face like this, just like you told me you did. You stop. You say, get the fuck out of my truck or my car, whatever you call it. He gets out and he's trying to get you out, and you get into a fight and you hit him a couple more times and he's laying there and he just passes away later after you're gone. Well, it's a lot easier to say, hey, all I did was hit him a couple times. I didn't kill him. But he was okay when I left him.
Yeah, I understand.
But, once we find him there and we find evidence that you were there, then what are they going to do? They're going to say,
they could also go for the autopsy and then see.
yeah, but they're going to come back and say,
That was the last person.
Pedro lied about every damn thing. He lied about going to McDonald's. He lied about hitting him. He lied about the backpack. He lied about this. So all I'm trying to say is,
it wouldn't hold up.
right,
Yeah.
and what I'm trying to say is things happen sometimes that we do not intend. And if you have to defend yourself because you punched somebody in the face because they pissed you off, and then they're trying to hurt you back, and you have to defend yourself, it's much easier to say, look, I'm here, he was trying to beat me on the ass, and I had to defend myself, and something bad happened. But it wasn't a murder. I didn't go out and plan to kill him or anything like that, but I did get in a fight with him, I did protect myself, and shit happened. And I don't want him to be found as a skeleton by his parents and not be able to have a funeral. Someone who does something that is in the heat of the moment because they're protecting themselves, it's much easier to explain if you're honest about it and you say, hey, this happened, he's right here, he was trying to beat my ass and I protected myself, and I'm sorry it happened, but it's not a murder, it's self-defense. It's much easier to tell the truth about it.
Isn't it still manslaughter though?
Not if you're protecting yourself.
Well, what was it? Manslaughter, okay, then what is manslaughter? Like you hit someone with a car?
Manslaughter is like you running somebody with your car. And
Really?
Now, there could be a manslaughter if you...
So you kill someone accidentally?
If you're an ultimate fighting champion, you hit somebody one time and they die from it because they fell and hit their head, that could be manslaughter.
I learned that from a friend.
Yeah, there are certain cases.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, if you tell the truth about it because he was attacking you or because something happened, and you say, hey, look, the guy was trying, he's been my best friend forever, but he tried to bust me upside my head, and I protected myself, and I want to let you know.
He didn't try to fight back. I just punched him once.
Okay.
And it was the heat of the moment of me being angry at him.
I understand that, but I don't want it to come down the road where tomorrow somebody calls in and says, hey, we found a body, and then we find out that Pedro didn't tell us that he actually turned on a different road and his tracks are right where the body was found, or given those circumstances, you have the opportunity, if something did happen, to tell the truth now. And maybe it is self-defense. Maybe you are telling the truth, if that's what happened. But if you don't tell about it and it did happen that way, you never convince anybody later that it didn't happen that way because you were honest about it. You concealed everything. You concealed him being injured or hurt or killed or whatever the case may be. you've got to be able to tell the truth now, or
I was like, I didn't want to say anything because I felt like it's like I feel afraid that something might happen to me because I just did that and it was just out of anger at the moment. Like I don't want to like lead to more things. I don't want it to snowball. Like just.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm concerned, and you understand my legitimate concern that something bad has happened to Christian.
Yes.
And that it probably happened because y'all had a fight, and something accidentally happened to him that you didn't intend to happen, and now you're trying not to get in trouble for it, and we're not going to be able to help you then. Because if you don't tell us about it up front here in this room, and we find him later, you're just going to get charged with something bad because it looks like you're trying to cover it up. So that's all I'm trying to get across to you. If something bad happened and it wasn't intentional and you want to do the right thing, then be honest about it. Don't sit here and try to play games, because playing games are going to end up getting you charged with something that's very serious.
Yeah. I know. It's life-changing at that.
I would say at least at the minimum. Yeah. And I don't like to, I got children older than you. And I'm telling you the same thing I would tell my child. If you got in a fight with somebody or you did something in the heat of the moment that wasn't intentional, be honest about it, because if it comes out later, 2 weeks from now or next week or next year, all these lies are going to make you look like you're...
Trail back.
Oh, it's going to make you look like you're guilty of first-degree murder. You planned it, you picked him up, you took him out, you did this. I know you're not that type of person. I can talk to you. The only person you want to hurt is yourself. And I think you're crazy to do that. But if you did something more than just one punch in the face because he attacked you or because something happened, be honest about it now. Don't wait and something bad happened down the road. We find out about it a couple of weeks from now. Or
I wanted, like, I'm going to be honest, I wanted to hurt him, like, really hurt him for doing that.
Of course.
And I've jotted down, like, how I want to hurt him and stuff like that. But, like, and then I look back on it and I'm like, it relieves stress writing down what you want to do. But, like, I look back at it and I'm like, no, this isn't the person I am. I can't do this to someone else.
Well, I like to think that there's no way that I could do something to somebody in cold blood. I wouldn't plan to go out and do something to somebody. But I can also understand that if someone is messing around with the girl that I was in love with in high school, he's going to UF, where you should be going. I can see that there's some.
Yeah.
I can see that there's some problems in there. Okay.
Yeah, it's like that in the way.
Yeah. And I just don't want you to ruin your life because you're not honest with me about what's going on now. Because you're already too far in. You're already too far in. The McDonald's thing, the backpack, the cell phone records, all this kind of stuff is going to make it look like you did something more than you actually did. Now, I don't think that you're that type of person. I think something happened in the spur of the moment, and he started some shit about all that was going on. Was it something like that or something you planned? I'm sure you're not the type of person to plan all this out.
No.
It's not for, it's something that happened in the spur of the moment, ain't it? I'm just being honest about it and tell the truth.
I know. I was just really angry at him.
I know you were angry at him. But be honest and tell what happened. If it was pissed off at him and he was running his mouth to you and making you feel bad about, whatever the situation was, whether it was school or whether it was the girlfriend or another girl or whatever it was, I'm sure he pissed you off.
I got mad at him. I punched him. And I made him get out of the car. And I know his phone was still in the car. I knew his book bag was also still in the car. I knew that for sure. And then I pushed him out. I made sure I didn't go away. And I was really angry at him. And I drove around for a while. And then I turned off his phone. Because I'm like, you know what? Screw him. Let's make it hard for him today. Let's make it a real challenge for him to get back home today. And then tomorrow I'll just give him his phone back. And give him his book bag back. And be like, yeah, this is it. This is the end. And apologize later on because I feel like that'd be something I'd do. I'd be really mad, do something, and then later on just be like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Where's his phone?
His phone?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
What'd you do with it?
I turned off his phone and I just let it go.
Where?
In the middle of the road at some point. Because I was just like, you know what? That's it.
The things that we've talked about, and I think you're almost where you need to be. You're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
And I said, I got kids your age. I've got kids that have been to Iraq, that have done a lot of bad things, and not things you're proud of. And I'm sure that this is not something you're proud of.
It's really not something I'm proud of.
No, because you wouldn't have done
He
it.
was a really good friend.
And you wouldn't.
And I messed up.
And
Like,
you
because
would not have done it.
everything was right, like, the moment. It was right there, and I took advantage of it. But I shouldn't have taken advantage
No,
of it.
you shouldn't.
But, like, I can't go back and change that. Like, I hit him in the face, and I made him get out, and
But
then...
there's more to that, and I think that you need to be honest about it. You need to tell me what else happened, because something else happened besides just that. Okay? Something else happened, and you need to be honest with me, because if that's all that happened, he would have went somewhere, called the police to get his phone and to get his stuff.
No.
We know that he's not coming back, okay? I know he's not coming back. I've been doing this for too long. I've been doing this for 30 years. I know when somebody's coming back, when they ain't coming back, he ain't coming back. You know he's not coming back. No, you need to tell the truth. We can help you a little bit as far as if you can explain things. But just to find him in a couple of weeks and not be able to explain it, you got to tell the truth.
Will I still be able to go home with my parents tonight if
I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that you can go home tonight, okay? You know, it's something that we got to work on, okay? I'm going to read you this right up here, okay? Make sure that you understand. You have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say can well be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present when you are being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, won't be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. You understand what the rights I just explained to you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to keep talking to me?
Yes.
Okay. As far as whether you can go home, I can't answer that.
I know.
Okay. I'm very concerned about what's going on,
Yeah.
you know, with Christian.
Yeah.
And I'm concerned about you wanting to hurt yourself.
But I can't do that. My parents are here, so I really can't do that.
I know that, but
That's it.
you understand my point. I'm a cop.
Yes.
And you tell me that you're thinking about hurting yourself, I can't just let you go home,
Yeah.
you know? And so since we were talking before, you were free to get up and leave at any time you wanted to.
Really?
Yeah, you've never been in handcuffs. You're not under arrest.
I didn't know.
You've been
No one told me.
No, you're free to leave. But when you asked me a specific question, am I going to be able to go home with my parents tonight? And
That's what barred it from my.
and now I'm sitting here going, well, I'm not sure that you are free to leave because I'm going to have to have you Baker acted and taken down for unless you're willing to go on your own, you know, for an examination, psychological examination, make sure you're not going to hurt yourself. Then we might be forced to take you down there without your consent.
I'll be willing to go down there and talk.
Okay, I think you are. Okay, but to answer that question, when I get put in that position of am I free to leave?
Yes,
now I've got
I
to explain
understand.
your rights.
I have to
because-
understand, yes.
Okay, now you're not free to leave until I decide whether or not you're a threat to yourself or other people. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Okay.
Yes.
Which one do you like better, Pete or Pedro?
My elementary school teacher used to call me Pete, so Pete works.
Okay. Pete, I know you got pissed off,
I know.
and I know it would bad.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
It's coming for a long time.
But can you go back and do it as a good attention? Like I kind of just.
What
I guess.
Oh, I said that I know you got pissed off.
Yes.
And it's been coming for a long time, you're getting pissed off at him.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want his family to not be able to do what they need to do. Okay? I don't want him to turn into where they can't have a funeral.
I understand.
And I want you to help me.
I understand. Thank you. Do you have a map? Google map, by any chance? I can show you. I can show you where, like,
What area?
where I went to. I stopped the car. I got out, and then I started a small fight with him, and then I left.
What area? I mean, what part of it?
Same. I've been explaining this.
It's that one.
Same place.
Okay, so right across Rice, by Home Depot, all that stuff.
Yeah, you explained it. Like, I got into a small. It wasn't just me pushing him out of the car. It was like pushed him out of the car. Then, I got into an area, I pushed him out of the car. Then I got out of the car. Then I kept punching him, and I didn't continue punching. It wasn't just savage. It was enough so I can see that he was okay, but he was not gonna get up for any time soon, sort of thing. And then I got in my car and left. And at that point, I made it over there and I turned off his phone, and there was a little part of me that was regretting it the entire way through.
I'm sure you were regretting it the whole time. I mean, this was your friend.
Yeah.
But he pissed you off, and he's done some things to you over a period of time that you...
I really hope he's okay, because when I left the scene, it was me, I was just there and I was wailing on him. And I kept going until I could see that he was okay, but he couldn't move anymore.
Yeah.
And then I drove away.
Okay. Did you actually have to pull off of 13th Street? Or did you?
No, I was on 13th Street.
I mean, but did you have to pull your car off of 13th Street to follow him, or any period of time, or did you follow him on foot?
No, he was in the car with me.
Oh.
And then when I turned into a place,
Oh.
and you made the comment. When he made the comment, I turned into a place, and I told him, get out. Like, I punched him in the face, and I told him, get out. And at that point, I got out also, and I kept going.
Okay. Why don't we do this, okay? Let me help this. Why don't me and you and somebody take a ride, and let's go see if he's still there.
Okay.
You're gonna be honest?
Yes.
Show me exactly where he
Yes,
is.
exactly where it was.
I don't want his family not to be able to bury him.
I understand.
Did you hit him with anything else besides you?
No.
Because
No, it was just me.
he's not
I
showing
had
like
a hammer in the car, but I wasn't gonna use that.
Okay, let's hang. Do you have to go to the bathroom or anything? Okay, just hang tight just a minute. Let me run to the restroom. And tell them what we're doing.
Okay.